Careful and
Yes.
filled with the Holy Spirit and speak the truth. So I've talked to people. I just wrote on Facebook. I took some pictures in Minnesota, which is so the waterfall was frozen, and I said I'm not in the North Pole. I'm in Minnesota, and it's freezing here. And whatever happened to this global warming hoax?
We had the coldest February on record here in Los Angeles.
Hi. I went to Fuller Seminary in Pasadena for a while, and they had an event over there where they had Muslims and they had Christians there, and
Where is seminary?
it was at Fuller Theological Seminary.
Yeah, we call it a cemetery. Fuller Theological Seminary.
Fuller.
You
Yes.
can change the name to Fuller Theological Cemetery.
Oh, okay.
Fuller is
Well,
dead.
Anyway, they were talking about Abraham, they were talking about Ishmael, they were talking about Isaac, and they made the claim that God chose to work His blessings through Ishmael. And I remember
He was an ass of a man.
raising my hand
was.
and saying, "But that's not what the Bible says." And they had a bouncer come over and threaten to throw me out of there.
Oh wow!
And you were saying that the Muslims
Blessed are you.
don't have the right to name a prophet because all the prophets were Jews, but they're fiddling around with the Abrahamic covenant.
No, that's
And
exactly.
not only are they fooling around with it, but the Catholic Church is fooling around with it to essentially rob Israel of the entitlement to the land.
Yeah.
And there is a move afoot to essentially push the Old Testament into the sidelines, because that is the place
I'm
where
telling you.
the Muslims can claim legitimacy
No, they can't.
if they
No, they can't.
get a lie like that.
No,
into
they
the
can't.
Old Testament's the foundation.
I'm
What do you
telling
have to say
you,
about that?
they're sleeping in the Muslims in the meeting. They're sleeping in their sleeps. I mean, they're laughing in their sleeps because that's the spirit of Antichrist. See, the spirit of Antichrist. If you notice, it doesn't say a spirit of anti-God or
Right.
anti-religion. It's anti-Christ.
Right.
Everything ends up at the expense of Christ. They eliminate Christ. They talk about all kinds of things, even charity, be nice, just be a human, just love each other. But then what happens it ends up at the expense of Christ. I was invited to an interfaith meeting. I didn't know what interfaith meeting was. I was invited to one years ago. I was new to the country. And I thought it's like, we go there and talk about faith, like how we have to have faith in God and believe in Jesus and get on fire for God. And I thought it's a meeting like that. And I went there and I saw the same thing, same groups. And so basically it's called, defining common ground. But then everything ends up at not talking about Jesus. Because it's offensive, right? Jesus is offensive to a lot of people. And so never, Fuller Theological Seminary is nullified. It's no longer valid. It's not a Christian organization. It's
gone off the UK.
It should be shut up. I mean, they're moving, I think, from the campus anyhow. But it's a
Their light has gone out.
It's not Fuller. It's FUU. Fuller. FOOLER.
Yeah.
It's Fuller Theological Cemetery. So don't believe in that. Yeah. So that's the spirit of Antichrist. Unfortunately, it's creeping to the churches.
Yes, it is.
I got a link. I got a message from someone on Facebook and said, "Hey, I went to this church and they had a speaker and would you please, he was talking about Islam is not as bad, and he sent me a link of his teachings and I click on it and look at it was a pile of garbage, and it was saying that Islam is not as bad, just because some Muslims do bad things, Islam is not bad. Then they talk about Ishmael and I said it was a pile of garbage. There was like equating Bible to the Quran and so I'm telling you, this is a dangerous thing because they're trying to, that's the bridge of the covenant with God. Because Islam is a pagan religion, it's a pagan ideology. And it's a moon god. That's why the crescent moon as a symbol. So any church, any pastor, any Christian organization who talks about that the Abrahamic religion, and they talk about getting along with the Islamists, and it's not a church, it's not a Christian. So,
Can only take a couple more questions.
Sure.
I think there was one in the back.
Isn't it? I taught 16 years in Bible college, and I'm a pastor myself.
yes.
Isn't it also written that under the Quran it's okay for a leader to lie,
Yes.
to justify the ends. Because
Yes.
when I was teaching my students, I taught them to study every religion on the planet. Because Hosea 4:6 says, my children are perishing for lack of knowledge and lack of understanding. And one of the things I find out, that outside of the United States, revival is breaking out by the Lord.
Yeah.
But here in the United States, the Christian is sleeping because they won't move by the Spirit. Instead, they just slumber and everything else. And God is telling us this is the time to wake up by the Spirit, because the Spirit is revealing itself
Absolutely.
on this earth.
Absolutely.
And in the United States, so they can wake up and see that the enemies, when they're speaking peace, 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 God says it's war, war, war.
War, yes. And the objective is Christ. Eventually,
Yes.
they're going to come knock on your door. Hey, can I talk about Jesus? It's
Right.
offensive. It's offending this, offending that. So yes.
I was arrested, matter of fact, at the VA hospital because a homosexual, his mom and dad came to me, and I told him what the Word of God said, and he ran to the police and they arrested me and put me in the car for saying that I was soliciting Jesus on the VA hospital.
Yes.
And I told him, take the cuffs off because I'm going to still keep preaching Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah. So the heck out of them.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm gonna.
What do you think about the Muslim movement?
Yeah, that's bad too, because see what happened, they legitimized Islam. And there's no such a thing, Islam cannot be reformed. Because
Okay.
to reform Islam, there's nothing left.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I know him, yeah. Yeah. I don't agree with that. I don't think they should completely denounce Islam. I think they try to do it. I don't think they believe in Islam anymore. Yeah. I think what they're trying to do, I don't know if they do or not, but I think they're trying to have the name and then denounce it. But what it does is legitimize Islam in the West. And that's a dangerous thing, because they make Islam look good while it's still a danger. It's like somebody says, cancer is okay while it's still a threat. And so you have to be careful, yeah. There's no such a thing as reforming Islam.
No.
Islam cannot be reformed.
I wish we had more time.
Yeah. So I'll be at the book table also.
Before you go, a couple of things.